So hello guys, so good morning everyone. Pasensya na, may apologies for not having able to conduct classes yesterday because I have equally important matters to attend yesterday. So for this session, this one is an asynchronous online class. So you can just watch it or you can just rewatch this one during your free time. At ito ay sana mapanood nyo bago nyo gawin yung activity na ibibigay ko po bukas. So to start, let me just give me a minute so that I can start sharing my screen. Okay, wait lang natin na ma-flash sa screen yung ating PowerPoint presentation. So ayan, naka-flash na sa ating screen yung ating presentation. So muli magandang umaga po sa ating lahat at muli nagpapasalamat po ako sa inyong oras sa ating pakikinig ng ating lesson for this morning. My apologies again for not having able to have class yesterday because of an equally important matter that I need to attend. So for this moment, we're going to have now the next lesson, which is all about Boyle's Law. So this would be a series of laws concerning the properties and behavior of gases. So for Boyle's Law, so titingnan natin dito muna yung interaction ng iba't ibang mga variables. In this case, the interaction will be pressure, volume, temperature, and amount of particles or number of moles. So sa gas laws, titingnan natin kung paano nag-i-interact ang iba't ibang variables na ito so that we can see the different behaviors of these gases. So the variables that I have mentioned earlier are interdependent. And when we say interdependent, pwede nating ma-determine ang value ng isang variable kapag alam natin i-measure or meron tayong value nung natitirang mga variables. So for example, you need to know the pressure of a certain amount of gas. Ang tanging available lang sa iyo ngayon is yung temperature. So pwede natin ma-compute yun. Pwede rin nating malaman ang volume ng gas if given is the pressure. Number ng moles if given is the temperature. So ibig sabihin, these four variables, once na alam natin yung mga values nila or at least three of those values ay alam natin, pwede nating makalculate kung ano yung natitira pang mga variables na kailangan nating isolve sa mga gas laws na ito. So, in this case, each of these gas laws expresses the effect of one variable on another, with the remaining two variables held constant. So, in this diagram, pwede nating makuha natin, for example, you have pressure and volume, you have volume and amount, and you have temperature and volume, given that the remaining variables are held constant. So yun ang kailangan natin i-take down notes dito. I-take note sa bagay nito na maaring magbago yung pressure at volume pero iti-take into account natin yung pagiging constant ng natitira pang mga variables. Okay? Because gas volume is so easy to measure, the laws are expressed as the effect on gas volume of a change in pressure, temperature, or amount of gas. So as you can see here sa ating mga halimbawa sa ating discussion for this session, you can see there na once na alam natin isang variable, malalaman na natin din yung iba pang mga variables. So yan yung madali sa gas laws. Ang mahalaga dito is alam nyo paano mag-convert or mag-transform ng mga formula. So moving forward, so ang topic natin para sa araw na ito will be Boyle's Law. So Boyle's Law states that at constant temperature, the volume occupied by a fixed amount of gas is inversely proportional to the applied pressure. And when we say inverse, ibig sabihin para siyang seesaw effect. Na kapag tumaas yung isang variable, bababa yung isang variable. For example, in this diagram, let's see sa ating ginamit na diagram here, it's very clear sa ating diagram that zoom natin yan. Kitang-kita sa ating diagram that the temperature for both devices, for these two pistons, are constant. They are both at 300 Kelvin in this case. So hindi siya nagbabago. Now, and as you can see there, meron tayong pistons. Movable pistons po ito. So, kapag nakataas yung pistons natin, obviously, mababa ang pressure. Kasi bakit naging mababa ang pressure? Kasi the space available for the gas molecules to move are larger. So mas maliit yung tendency na magbungguan sila. So para siyang elevator eh. For example, you have an elevator. And on that case, fix yung dami ng tao sa loob ng elevator natin. And on that case, sabihin natin that elevator, ang size niya is kasing laki ng isang typical na elevator. So there's a tendency na pwede magbungguan yung mga tao sa loob. Pero pag ang ginawa natin is nilakihan natin yung elevator, nilakihan natin yung volume, yung space na yan, mas maliit na yung pressure niyan. Kasi nga, mas maliit na yung tendency na magbungguan sila sa wall or sa wall ng ating piston. Now, going back to this example, as you can see here, na yung piston natin ay nakaangat. Therefore, ang na-record nating pressure, it's 1 atm. Now, bilangin natin yung particles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 particles of gas inside this piston. And at this situation, the pressure measured is 1.0 atm. Now, ang ginawa natin sa second situation, binaba natin yung piston. At dahil binaba natin yung piston, we are also increasing the pressure. Why? Because we are also decreasing the volume. Lumiliit yung volume natin na pwedeng i-occupy ng mga gas particles. So ano mangyari ngayon? Magbubungguan, mas malaki na yung tendency na magbungguan yung mga gas particle natin inside. So kitang-kita natin dito that there is now an inverse relation. Kapag mataas ang ating pressure, you have smaller volume. And if you have smaller pressure, you have greater volume naman. So that's an inverse relation. That's a seesaw effect na kung tutusin natin. So moving forward, so this is the simplified version. If you have greater pressure, you have lower volumes or smaller volume. If you have lesser pressure, you have greater volume. Given that we have a constant temperature and a fixed amount of gas particle. So ibig sabihin hindi nagbabago yung dami ng gas particle natin. If that's 10 particles, that's 10 particles after the change in pressure. And we also have a constant temperature. Ibang gas law na po kapag constant pag temperature na ang binago natin. So the formula for this one, hindi na sa video na pinapanood ko sa inyo is you can see there the transformation of the formula. But in this lesson, hindi na po natin ano po yung formula nito. Sa gas law, sa Boyle's law, ang formula na ginagamit natin is P1 is equals to V1 is equals to P2 over V2. So that is how your pressure and volume for the initial condition and final condition are related. So once na ginraph natin ang value na ito, later ipapakita ko po yung pag-graph nito, you can have a graph like this, wherein the volume is at the x-axis and the pressure is now on the y-axis. So, ganyan po mangyayari. So, pakikita natin sa graph na ito, let me use a pointer. Sa part na ito, you can see there na you have high pressure at this point, obviously, but you have low volume. At sa dulo naman ng ating graph, you have low pressure kasi nasa mababang pressure na talaga siya, but you have high volume. So, kitang-kita natin sa graph na ito na meron tayong inverse relationship. So, yan ang titingnan natin later sa ating problem. But the first thing here is how are we going to solve or how are we going to transform the formula? So let me use this For example, let me use a different color. Let me use green. For example, ang hinahanap natin sa first value, okay? Hindi lang po hindi nare-read. Sandali lang po. Nagkaroon ng error sa pag-share. Let me go back to the platform muna ha. Stop sharing muna tayo. So guys, kita natin sa ating example kanina that we have an inverse relationship between the pressure and volume. So please take note of this one kasi in the following days, magpapa-experiment po ako ng Boyle's law. You're going to investigate how are the volume and pressure will change given na constant po yung temperature at saka yung ating number of particles. So in this case, hopefully gumana na yung aking pen. Ayun. Let me use a pen. For example, you are looking for the P1. So ang gagawin lang natin dyan guys, is we're going to write the formula P1 is equals to V1, P2 over V2. And we are looking for P1. So para ma-cancel natin to or maiwan natin si P1 dito, kailangan natin i-cancel si V1. Divide both sides with V1. So cancel it out. And your formula now will become P1 is equals to P2 V2 over V1. And now class, what if naman pag hinahanap naman natin, let me change color. Yan. Pag hinahanap naman natin si V1, so ganun, i-rewrite lang natin yung formula. Okay? So, and we're looking for V1 here. So, mangyari dito is we need to cancel it out. So, tanggalin natin si P1 para maiwan si V1. So, yan po mangyayari. So, V1 is equals to P2, V2 over P1. Now, let's have the next one. For example, nawawala naman si next value, P2 or the final amount of pressure. So, ang gagawin lang natin dyan, rewrite lang natin yung formula. So, we're looking for this one. So, i-cancel natin yung katabi niya, V2, sorry. So, the formula will now become P2 is equals to P1 V1 over, erase ko yan. And yan. And over V2. So, in the last problem natin, or last formula natin dito, let me use another color. Let me use green. Gumamit ko rin green. Gawin din natin ay black. So, para naman sa nawawalang final volume natin, we're just going to rewrite again the formula, P1 V1, P2 V2. To cancel it out, para matanggal si P2, divide both sides with P2. And you are now left with V2 is equals to P1 P1 V1 over P2. So, in this case, ang nagiging problema ng mga estudyante kadalasan sa gas loss na ito ay kinakabisado nila lahat ng formula. Pero sa totoo lang, ito lang ang kailangan nating kabisaduhin on that case. We do not need to memorize the whole thing because we just need to know this relationship ng dalawang variables ng pressure and volume. So, from this formula, pwede natin makuha yung ibang mga values o ibang mga equations to solve the other problems. Dali lang po, para nag-error ng connection ulit. Anyways, continuing. So for example, we have a problem here. At 1 atm, a sample of gas has a volume of 5 liters. If the pressure will increase to 2.5 atm, what will be the new volume of gas? So check lang natin kung nag-work na yung ating connection. So hello guys, so good morning everyone. Pasensya na kayo. Wait lang po, nagkakaroon ng error yung connection. Stop sharing lang muna for a while. Ayun, hindi naka-share ang aking screen. So yan, ulitin natin ha. Ulitin natin guys. Medyo nagkaroon ng problema. So for example, you now have the formula P1 is equals to V1. Ayan. Hopefully, naka-ano na. Let me go back to the platform muna ha. Ayan. So far, okay na ulit. Ulitin natin ha. Ulitin natin guys. So for example, you now have, or for example, you are required to determine the formula for initial pressure. So ang gagawin na natin dyan is obviously you're just going to rewrite the formula P1 is equals to V1 is equals to P2 over V2. So if you're looking for P1, kailangan maiwan siya sa side ng equation na to. So ang gagawin natin ngayon dyan is divide both sides with V1, then cancel V1 here. So may iwan natin sa side na ngayon na ito is P1 is equals to P2V2 over V1. Ngayon naman, let's try the next one. For example, volume naman ang nawawala. Let's change the color. Ang gagawin lang natin dito is again, rewrite the formula P1V1, P2V2. So, para matanggal lang natin si P1 dito, divide both sides with P1. Cancel, cancel. And you're going to have V1 is equals to P2V2 over P1. Ngayon naman, paano pag sa final conditions naman ang nawawala? So, ang gagawin lang naman natin dyan is ganun din lang naman po. So, rewrite the formula, P1V1, P2V2. And we need to look for the final pressure. So, ang gagawin lang natin dyan is divide both sides with V2. And you are now left with P2 is equals to P1V1 over V2. And finally, if you're looking for the final volume naman, ganun din lang po ang gagawin natin dyan. You're just going to have P1V1, P2V2, and you need to see, to determine the final volume, divide both sides with P2. So cancel, cancel, you have V2 is equals to P1V1, P2. So, ang problema kasi ng mga estudyante rito is that normally, they are memorizing the whole four formulas. Kaya natandaan niyo po, mayroon tayong 4 na gas laws na i-discuss. So if you're going to memorize everything, you're going to have 16 formulas to memorize. So that's very hard for you. So ang kailangan nyo lang alamin, o kailangan nyo lang tandaan guys, is itong formula na ito. Itong equation na nasa unahan natin na to. Ito lang ang kailangan nyo tandaan because you can derive the formula. You can transform the equation into 4 different formula. Okay? So let's have a problem. At 1 atm, a sample of gas has a volume of 5 liters. If the pressure will increase to 2.5 atm, what will be the new volume of gas? So, ang una natin gagawin lang dyan, guys, is siyempre, ilagay na muna natin given. Ano nga ba yung mga binigay sa ating problema? So, in this case, we have 1.8 atm, 5 liters, and 2.5 atm. And we're looking for the new volume of gas in liters. So, we have X here, or hindi natin alam yan. So pag nilagyan natin siya ng mga labels, so this one is P1, this one is V1, this one is P2, and we are looking for V2. So hinahanap natin si new volume. So ang formula lang naman natin dyan is ganito lang naman po yun. Balikan lang natin si P1, V1, P2, V2, and we're looking for this one. So V2 is equals to P1, V1, divided by P2. The next thing that you're going to do is to substitute the values. So it's 1.8 atm, okay? With the new the initial volume, which is 5 liters, divided by P2, which is 2.5 atm. So just perform the mathematical operation. You're just going to multiply 1.8 times 5 liters divided by 2.5, and you're going to get 3.6 liters, canceling ATM, and you are now left with liters. So the new volume is V2. Now, before you continue, actually kahit hindi nyo pa siya isolve, alam na natin ang mangyayari. Kasi in this case, ano nangyayari sa ating pressure? Yung pressure natin goes up. So dahil inverse relation po ang Boyle's law, we are expecting that the volume will decrease, which is true. Bakit? Kasi yung X na natin ngayon dito is 3.6 liters. From 5 liters to 3.6 liters. Bumaba po yung ating volume. Okay? Given the relationship between pressure and volume. If we're going to graph that one, ganito pa mangyayari sa kanya. Okay? You have the two volume, 1.8. So, oops, sorry. Let me use a pen again. You have here 1.8. Sorry, this one, sorry. You have 1.8, then 5 liters. Ito po yun. Then 2.5 ATM and 3.6 liters. So tumaas yung pressure, bumaba ang kanyang volume. So let me use a pen para mapagkonekta lang natin itong dalawang dots na ito. So ganito po mangyayari sa kanya. Okay? So napakadali. So let's have another problem. A sample of gas was placed in a flask and with a pressure of 6.5 torr. What is the initial volume of the gas if the new volume is 6 liters at 2.5 torr? So again, ang gagawin lang natin dyan is you're going to have the given. The given is 6.5 torr, 6 liters, and 2.5 torr. So ito ay ano dito, kung iintindihin natin dyan, yung inahanap natin dyan ay yung initial volume. So we are looking for V1 here. Okay? So ang initial pressure natin is 6.5 torr. So this one is P1. So the new volume is V2 and the new pressure is P2's 2.5 torr. So going back to the formula, P1 is equals to V1 is equals to P2 over V2. At hinahanap natin natin dyan is P2V2 over P2. P1, sorry. Okay? So, tingnan naman natin yung relationship muna. So, in this case, we have 6.5 torr to 2.5 torr. So, bumaba ang pressure. So, we're expecting na anong mangyayari ngayon dito? We have 6.5 torr dito at 2.5 torr dito. Bumaba yung pressure natin. So kung ito ay mababang pressure, mataas ang volume, ano kaya in-expect natin sa volume? So tingnan natin later sa computation. So substituting the values, P2, which is 2.5 torr, times V2, which is 6 liters, over P2, which is P1 pala is 6.5 torr. So calculating the value 2.5 times 6 divided by 6.5, you're going to get at least 2.3 or 2.31 liters. 2.31 liters. So, anong nangyari sa volume natin dito? Tumaas yung volume, therefore yung pressure natin ay bababa. Okay? So, ganyan po nangyari. Okay? So, we have increase of pressure of volume, 2.3, naging 6 liters siya. So, we're expecting na bababa naman ang pressure from 6.5 to 2.5 torr. So, pag ginraph natin yan, ang itsura ngayon yan, if this is pressure, we have pressure here. So, we have 2, 4, and 6, and 8. Then the volume is 2, 4, 6. We have volume here. We have pressure here. So pag ginano natin dyan, we have 2.31 liters. So nandito siya. Then 6.5 torr. So ito po siya. Yun yung initial natin, P1, V1. Then yung ating P2, V2, we have 6 liters versus 2.5 torr. So ito naman po siya. Yan din po ang mangyayari sa ating graph. So for the application, ganito po ang mga application ng ating Boyle's law. So once we increase the pressure, once we pump air to the bicycle wheels or bike wheels natin, we are increasing the pressure ng ating loob ng gulong, kaya yung mga molecules natin will be colliding to the wall at na may inflate yung ating gulong. Ganyan din po ang nagpapagana sa ating baga kung bakit tayo nakakahinga. So in this case, when air flows in, our chest cavity starts to expand as our diaphragm flatten out o bumaba. So para mag-i-increase ng pressure, papasok ngayon yung hangin ngayon natin. So parang it will suck all the air. So ganyan din naman po, kabaliktad naman po ang mangyayari kapag tayo ay nag-exhale. So this ends my presentation. On Thursday, I will be giving set of by tomorrow. I will be giving set of activities that you must answer for our activity number 2. So I will now be ending my presentation. So I hope you watch this one first before you answer the activity that I will give tomorrow. So muli maraming salamat po sa pag-attend ng ating asynchronous online class, and goodbye.